every year, and it's coming up, we're getting our taxes again. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I pay this much in taxes? Well, guess what I don't want to pay for? Jim fucking Jordan. Or anybody who doesn't do their job. Do your job. That's our money, people. This is what people don't quite get. I'm voting for that guy no matter what. Think it through. Do me a favor. Think it through. All your tax money goes to that guy's salary. All your tax money goes to what he's getting done for you. Jim Jordan has zero. So you're paying a fuck who actually has divided the country, helped commit treason on America, and now you want to put him third in line for president?
When you said that, that was shocking. I know that, but you forget.
Yeah,
that,
right.
And it's like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Representative Ken Buck, who is a serious conservative from Colorado, he said he might support Jordan if Jordan would simply admit in public that Trump lost the 2020 election.
Never happened.
So that's just a little bit of integrity there.
But what a tiny bit. It's been 3 years, 60-something court cases.
He supported McCarthy, though, who went up the day after January 6th and said Donald Trump bears full responsibility for this, and then went to Mar-a-Lago.
While his staff was booking a trip to Mar-a-Lago to hold his hand.
But like I said, the appropriate amount of slime bag.
Who on their side has... Besides, Mitt Romney, who else? Is there anybody else? Okay, so we would...
Ever since John
we lost
McCain.
Kinzinger and Liz Cheney.
and Liz Cheney.
I read something, and I guess it wasn't real, that said that there was discussion of Democrats nominating Liz Cheney for House Speaker. Mm-hmm. And all they would need is 5 Republicans, and she's hardcore conservative. Mm-hmm. So I think she aligned with Trump's policies 98% of the time. Yeah. So... then 5 Republicans that don't want these crazy people also vote. I mean, Democrats, this is not real. I'm saying I read something like proposing this, and I thought, okay, like we don't agree with her, a lot of her policies, but there would be integrity in the speakership. That would be
Well,
something.
I think even some Democrats came out and said during the January 6th investigation committee that say what you will, she was on the side of America. She wasn't. It was country before party.
And was willing to lose her career.
She did.
For it.
The Democrats. So here's what the weird part that freaked me out today. The Democrats have they're nominating Hakeem Jeffries every time, and
unanimous.
And 201. They are voting him and unanimously voting in Hakeem Jeffries. The Republicans have now switched the narrative to the Democrats are throwing a wrench into the system by not voting for our speaker. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Anybody who votes for...
No, they're saying that the responsibility lies with the Democrats
of McCarthy,
for voting against McCarthy, for voting with those crazy 8 to get McCarthy out. The guy that said that today on the news, it was you and I were talking about it. The guy that said it had just voted against Jim Jordan and was part of the reason that we can't get Jim Jordan in as speaker and move forward. He's doing exactly what he said Democrats did. Yeah. Instead of just going with the majority. And
but let's address what he said about the Democrats. He said McCarthy got taken out because the Democrats all voted against him as speaker. If they wanted a speaker that they could tolerate, they should have voted for Kevin McCarthy. What he didn't say was the day before, Kevin McCarthy had come out and said the Democrats were the worst thing to ever happen to America, that we can't get anything done with these idiots in the Democratic Party. And I'm sorry. At one point, I'm like, oh, yeah, let's vote for that guy. Yeah, let's help that guy out. Fuck you. I'm not helping you out.
So it's because of the Democrats that nothing gets done.
Yes,
And yet
they're the majority party.
And yet the Democrats are not the majority, and they are voting unanimously every
for
time.
One guy.
They are in lockstep.
Yep.
But it's the Democrats' fault. Yes.
When it's always the Republican side, it's on C-SPAN. Every C-SPAN screenshot says Republicans 0.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What the fuck?
They said there was another report because they've been talking about. So they've now been talking about a giant recession coming for 2 years now. I read an article earlier 2 days ago where that said that it looks like we're not going to have a recession. At best, things are going to slow down a tiny bit and just become mellow. And I've been saying this. I remember, how long have I been saying we're not having a recession? It's booming. Things are going to be booming for a while. If Biden can just do what he's doing, you got to remember, people keep saying that Biden is crazy. You got to remember, Biden has seen it all the way back for 45 years now. 45 years?
At least 45 years.
It's like 45.
Maybe 140.
140. I remember when Joe Biden signed the Constitution and he said, you know what, one day I might be president.
Heretofore.
So So Biden, people forget this. Biden, that means, so 40 years ago, if we go, let's just go back 40 years. That puts us in the 80s. That puts us with Clinton and even, so Biden got elected at 29. So he's 80 now.
Wow.
So that means, so here's the thing. This man is seen. He was 29. He was
Wow.
And interestingly,
he actually couldn't serve. He got elected at 29, couldn't serve till he was 30.
Wow.
Yeah. So you got a guy, last my point. This guy has seen it fail. He's seen economic policy fail, and he's seen it succeed. And he's seen it fail and he succeed, because it's always been Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat. But so he knows the history of it. He was in the room when it got voted in. And you think that guy is going to have a problem with the economy? He knows what works and he knows what doesn't work. He didn't throw some crazy shit out there like, let's build a wall. Trump, on the other hand, has now been shown to have fucked up. He's off the Forbes list. He's worth, they think, $2 billion less than he says he's worth. Mm-hmm. All this stuff that he claimed on his taxes is all bullshit. He said Mar-a-Lago's worth $1 billion.
He doesn't even live there. He lives in a studio apartment in fucking.
It's an efficiency. It's an efficiency. It's efficient.
It's one of those like.
And the windmills that run my efficiency cause cows to have cancer. But so you got a guy who is the worst, horrible, shittiest, 6-time bankrupt dickhead, and the polls are showing that they're still thinking that Trump's better on the economy. I don't get it. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
I want to go back to your point about Biden and his experience, and he's been in politics for as long as all of us have been alive.
Exactly.
It's interesting that only now he's had a major scandal. He's been in politics.
What's his major scandal?
The Hunter Biden, his son.
There's nobody, but they came out.
I know, but I'm saying that's the only, like,
in all that time,
of that we can, that the news picked up on. That was like a big thing that wanted to try to take him down.
If you go back through Biden's history, it kind of bothered me a little bit, because listen, if you're already going to grift the system and be a politician, you should be worth a couple $1 million. Up to he became vice president, Joe Biden's net worth was $110,000. He didn't know. Then he wrote a book after being VP. Mm-hmm. The book made him $6 million. Mm-hmm. He's worth $9 million now.
Plus the Corvette.
Corvette's worth about that.
Corvette's that?
The Corvette?
Yeah.
That Corvette. Okay.
Now that he owns it.
Without Biden owning it.
Yeah, exactly.
That car's $100,000. Without Biden owning it.
Joe Biden's.
But now it's Joe Biden's car. Yeah. That's like an astronaut car.
It's like priceless now.
$2 million. Yeah. It's $2 million.
Wow.
It's museum.
Yeah. Okay. So he could, and if I owned it, it would be worth $7 million. So he finally made money, and this is where people go, how did Joe Biden go from having 110,000 to 6 million? Well, he sold a book that was a really bestseller after being VP to one of the most popular presidents of all time. That's why.
Honestly, I would say that's not very much, considering like Lauren Boebert's been in for 3 years and she was worth nothing, and she's like 28 million now. Yeah. I mean, the exponential rise of these people's finances is way greater than
Republicans are way more criminals.
Yeah. They never look at themselves. They're the biggest fucking hypocrites ever.
Way more grifty. Way more grifty. Yeah. Oh no. If you brought that up. But that's the weird thing is, here's what I don't get. So this Jim Jordan video. So today I'm writing the Armageddon update, and I'm looking for the video where we have these guys testifying against Jim Jordan, and I hit it, and it comes up like this: just list of testifies against Jim Jordan, says interview with blah 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 wrestler, says Jim Jordan knew. I click on them, they're all removed, video not available anymore, and I'm like, oh shit! Isn't it weird? A little conspiracy, right?
Yeah,
it's weird that they aren't up there.
You can hire like a scrubbing company to go through and delete.
Yeah, but if you were guilty, you would do that.
Yeah.
If you were guilty, you would. But also,
and you could use the Wayback Machine. Go to the Wayback Machine, and I mean, it's a
hey,
check
Mr.
it
Peabody. Well, Sherman, we will go to the Wayback Machine.
Who's that?
You don't know Sherman and Peabody?
The little guy with the big glasses and the little dog.
The dog with the big glasses?
It's kind of like a precursor to Back to the Future, right? You had like a little
It was
scientist
a movie?
guy.
It was a cartoon when I was growing up. Sherman, just put Sherman and Peabody, and they would go back in time, and they went back to like ancient Greece, and they would go try to solve something. But it was a way to teach kids. It was there used to be a thing that you had to certain cartoons that were shown after school had to have a certain amount of educational thing, and I loved it.
Reagan stopped that, by the way.
Yeah, Reagan killed it. Yeah. Reagan killed it.
This is a more recent movie.
There's a movie. No, it was an old one.
Okay, there was a movie made in 2014 by DreamWorks. So this is an old cartoon.
Also done really well.
Yeah.
They should.
I don't.
I didn't even know that wasn't promoted. Go back to the cartoon.
I feel like it was from the 60s, maybe.
I
went
see
in syndication?
something on Amazon that looks older. Okay. I've never seen those people before in my life.
They're awesome. They were awesome. How about Tennessee Tuxedo?
That's like some Hanna-Barbera stuff,
Who's
right?
that?
Tennessee Tuxedo? Type in Tennessee Tuxedo.
Are you serious?
I would come home after school and I would watch these. And the cartoon, looking at the animation, how animation is now compared to then, literally it was like
Those
cave
guys?
drawing level.
I prefer that stuff, though.
Yes, Tennessee Tuxedo. Chumley. That's Chumley.
I don't know them.
Okay,
I've
Tennessee.
never seen them before in my life either.
See?
Oh, did you see
So
that?
great.
Do you know what that is?
Like only in like later years, like when it went.
You
like,
were watching
reruns.
a throwback.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was watching Throwback too. I'm not that much
No,
older.
I know. I'm saying when it went to syndication, when it went to the reruns.
And they
That's
kind of
great.
did stuff too. They were a lot of shenanigans in all these cartoons.
Chicanery.
Yes, there was a lot
Great
of that.
sound effects, and it was all voiced by
boing.
one guy.
Yeah. One guy did all the voice. That's
Yeah.
true. So now we got, so people just listen up. When people ask you to vote Republican, you have to actually think, well, what have they done? You can't just vote because you think, well, I don't like the Democrats. If you do that, you're just fucking the country up. If this was flipped and the Democrats were this fucking insane to the point where they were putting up criminals, guys who literally committed treason against America, who tried to stop an election, and they were putting people up who did that. And then you've got, and you said the scandal with Biden too, their own witnesses. So Jordan had a bunch of witnesses come forward that had evidence on Biden, and they said, we don't have any evidence that would actually support an impeachment. Their own witnesses.
I heard the Democrats just nominated Menendez to be the speaker.
There you
That
go.
was-
Perfect. And that's the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Menendez, everybody's going, literally, it's like
kill him!
all the Democrats are like, we need to burn him in effigy in
Yes.
front of the building now. That's to their own party. Whereas the Republicans are like, no, we can keep Santos. He's fine. When your entire job is supposed to be supporting the American population and for the tax dollars they pay you, and you've now made your job holding on to power so you can grift what you want, your party should not be in charge of fucking anything. And that's why I don't vote Republican anymore. And besides taking your rights away, I'm a white male. I'm good. But everybody else is getting screwed. Minority voting, they're stopping. Anybody who's running in government trying to ban books, anybody who's in government trying to take my rights away, I'm not voting for you.
Yeah.